My next guest is stepping up on short notice, going to be taking on Loopy Godinez, UFC Fight Night, September 16th. It is right around the corner. It's Elise Reed here on the program. Elise, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. This is kind of weird how this came together. It's not really short notice, I guess. It's you lost your opponent, she lost hers. They put you both together in this matchup. Is it as simple as that? How did this all come together?
It is kind of simple like that. They gave me, so Cynthia fell out. They gave me Isman at 120. You know, I fought 125 once in my career, and not the smartest decision. So I'm 115. So then we got lucky, and Loopy's fighter fell out, and then now we get to take Loopy. So it almost didn't happen. I almost didn't have a fight in September, and that would have been really upsetting. But it turns out better than ever. So I can't complain.
Yeah. And did you kind of expect that you two were going to fight at some point? Like, I don't know if you look at the division. Did you know much about her before accepting the fight?
The funniest part was we were going back and forth with, the matchmakers and my team, going back with Isman and some other people that they had offered because the other girl fell out. And I told my coach, I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like it's going to be Loopy. And he's like, I don't know about that. Like some other fighter has to fall out. And sure enough, the next day, I get a call from my management. They're like, by the way, Loopy's on. I was like, done. Call it a day. Good. Yep. Sign the contract same day. It was awesome.
There, it all worked out. And kind of a little bit intrigued as well. Obviously, this is a sort of Mexican themed card. She trains with Alexa Grasso. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, she actually lives here in Vancouver, where I live in Canada. So I would imagine though the fans are going to be cheering for her. Does this kind of feel like an away game, or how do you sort of look at that aspect of it?
I feel like I'm always at an away game. So there really isn't. There isn't much of a surprise. The last time I was in Vegas and T-Mobile, I was against Melissa Martinez, and that was around the same time as Mexican Independence Day as well. So, yeah, used to the crowd. By the end of it, they're going to be fans of mine, and that's all that matters.
By the way, I do have to ask, do you have a cat? Because I hear someone in the back. No, I have a cat as well, so I can relate. My cat's out in the he's out in the basement, so you can't hear him. But I can relate, because if they don't get that attention, whether it's the food or anything, they get a a little bit upset. So I can understand for sure.
I'm literally
don't apologize or anything. It's fine. Of all people, I have a cat. I've had a cat forever, and he can be a little bit he's like you know what he is? He's like one of those like demanding teenagers. You know, that's what. That's a lot what mine's like. So I can relate to that. How what's your cat's name, since we're on the topic, and what type of cat is it?
So it's Lulu. The name is Lulu. I really call her Lewis, and she's a little black and white, but she's really fluffy. Okay. And I actually have two. There's another. Okay. I have another black cat. His name is Andy, and she is a huge little queen. Like, if you are not talking about her and petting her and all, she's gonna let me know that she misses me. And then the moment I try to pet her, right, when I'm like, oh, I'll be nice to you, doesn't care, doesn't want it.
Yeah, it's got to be on her terms.
Yeah. It's it's something else. She was quiet the whole time.
Yeah, no, so I have a British short hair seal point. So he looks Siamese, but he's not. Yeah. He's British short hair. He sheds like crazy, but he's like, yeah, exactly like that. Like, it's got to be on his terms. Like, usually when I go to bed, that's when he knows, like, he can come sit on my lap or whatever. It's fine. But yeah, very demanding, these cats. But anyway, so people don't think this is not a fighting show. It is. Let's talk about Loopy Godinez, 10-3 record. Stylistically, how are you looking at this one?
So I think she has a lot. She's obviously a very well-rounded fighter, really solid matchup. She has solid striking hands. And then she also has worked wrestling. I know we're looking at her matchup with Loma and how she kind of grinded and wrestled her. So I always say it, I'm happy to strike and do anything on the stand-up. I am going to imagine that she's going to come up and wrestle and get after me. She is so needy.
I know, it's all good. I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a solid matchup. I think it's going to be a solid fight. If we want to stand and bang, I think it's going to be great. I also assume that she's going to come at me with her wrestling and try to take me down to make her life a little easier for that day. But
yeah, no, for sure. And I think the style matchups are very interesting. Training partners, who've been some of the main people you've been working with helping you get ready for this one?
So Carnicella MMA is a huge part that I've been there since 2019 with Mariah and their team. And then recently, within probably the last 1 to 2 fights, has been obviously as well MK Muay Thai and Fatima, who works with Erin Blanchfield. So we're getting as much work in as possible. But those 2 camps have been huge, especially with their female fighters.
Yeah, and that's great. And obviously being able to customize things a little bit, picking where you can kind of go and all that. I know that's a key thing. Getting that variety right, I know is very key when it comes to fight camp, right? So
absolutely, yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you spar the same person, as much as both fighters are going to excel and get better, you're going to get to know each other and you're going to see things. Changing it up gets to see different looks, and that's what the fight's about, right? I've never sparred Loopy before, so it's going to be seeing that new look and then being able to adapt.
And this is a strawweight fight, or is it 120? I was curious. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, just making sure. I was clarifying that. And then your corner, who will be in the cage with you that night?
So it'll be John Canabay, Dana Leary, and Fatima. I'd actually be jumping in.
Oh,
and
nice.
being in a corner. Yeah, it's good. We're definitely tweaking it and making some moves. So I think it's going to be a great showing in September. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's coming up here pretty quickly. How's the fight playing out? What's your prediction? How do you see it going down?
I think the first round is going to be us just seeing how strong we are compared to one another. I think that she's going to try to stand a little bit and feel like she gets her edge, but I think she's going to end up shooting at least halfway through the first round. And then the second round, I think, is where one person will take over. So I'm always talking about a finish in the second round. I don't know when it'll happen, but it'll happen. But I think by the second and third, there's going to be a clear winner in terms of who's going to take it.
And then at the top of your division, we have Weili Zhang, obviously getting a pretty dominant win over Amanda Lemos. Just how surprised were you that she didn't finish it? Just because I think Lemos, she's pretty tough. Like, it was pretty crazy that she survived that long.
Yeah, no, I think Lemos has very aggressive striking, and I think that's probably what we thought was going to make the difference between whether she was taking it or not. But I think Weili definitely showed that she has worked on her ground game and has tremendous skill. I was a little surprised that it wasn't finished either, but making it a round where it's so dominating for 5 rounds still is just as good, if not more emphatic than a finish.
Well, as a fan, what would you like to see next? There's obviously 2 clear-cut contenders. There's Yan Xiaonan, which, I mean, if they ever end up doing that fight in China, that's got to be like a mega fight. And then you've got Tatiana Suarez, who's, I know, come back, and she, dominated Jessica Andrade, and she's looked great. Like, what would you like to see next?
I'd like to see Tatiana. I'd like to see Tatiana do it. I think Yan is very similar to Weili. I think that would be a banger fight as well. It kind of like Joanna and Weili. I think that would be a really exciting fight. But I think given her ability to be on the ground with this Lemos fight, I think it would be interesting to see that contrast of styles. So I'd like to see Tatiana.
And this is a great interview, Elise. Thanks so much for doing this and then plugging through with the, the needy cat. Trust me, I've had to deal with a few of those in my time as well, too. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Well, thank you. I thank you for my team, Kickside, Carnicella, MK Muay Thai, all the people that made this fight camp possible, and excited to put on a show for everybody.